Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to talk about there's some good news today. For the last video today, obviously I want to give off a little bit of good news and a little bit of insanity. Good win for women and bad women. Bad loss for Biden because that's always good for Biden to lose in a lot of situations. Unfortunately, when he does things, he also makes a loss for him. But I digress. It seems like this judge has done a very good job, and fortunately, the Biden was able to do it. Let's see right here in the article here, and it goes off: federal judge blocks Biden admin's guidance allowing biological males in girls' school bathrooms. I think that's a very good thing for a lot of reasons. I think there'll be a lot left of sexual assaults in that case, a lot less of everything else. I think this might be a good idea. The judge ruled the administration misquoted the Supreme Court. A federal judge has temporarily blocked the Biden administration's Title IX guidance on gender identity and sexual orientation. U.S. District Judge Charles Ashley in the Eastern District of Tennessee ruled last week that the administration's guidance misquoted the Supreme Court to equate sex and gender identity, likely violating federal law. The administration's guidance effectively forced states to allow biological males to use girls' bathrooms, forbade states from barring males from participating in female sports, and forced employers to use employees' preferred pronouns, all at the risk of losing federal funding. According to the state attorneys general who sued the administration, the guidance was released last year by Education Department and Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. As it currently stands, plaintiffs must choose between the threat of legal consequences, enforcement action, civil penalties, and the withholding of federal funding, or altering their state laws to ensure compliance with the guidance and avoid such adverse action. Actually, a Trump appointee wrote in his preliminary injunction. Now, I will say that we are very, very lucky that Trump appointed this person, because if it was by Biden, by any chance, we would have men going into girls' bathrooms, and we all know what that would entail. Would basically be mostly LGBTQ people, but that would also mean biological men as well, and there would be a lot more sexual assaults happening in those bathrooms with almost guaranteed. Which, thank God that Trump appointed this person in before that, because we all know the Biden administration, what they would have done if that person was appointed to the judge. So now we have that, so thank God that that's been put into place. Goes on to say, the Biden administration inappropriately invoked the Supreme Court's 2020 ruling in Bostock v. Clayton County as a case that dealt with transgender employment, the judge said. In the Bostock majority opinion, Justice Neil Gorsuch included a caveat about the scope of the court's decision. They say sex-segregated bathrooms, locker rooms, and dress codes will prove unsustainable after a decision today, but none of these other laws are before us. We have not had the benefit of adversarial testing about the meaning of the terms, and we do not prejudge any such question today, Gorsuch wrote. Actually wrote that in applying Bostock to Title IX, the department overlooked the caveats expressly recognized by the Supreme Court and created new law. The judge cited Tennessee's laws, which organize school sports teams by the student's sex at the time of the student's birth and allow students and employees to sue a school that deliberately allows people of the opposite sex use a single-sex bathroom. Actually declared that at least 10 of the 20 states have demonstrated that there is a concrete and imminent threat to their ability to enforce their state laws. That threat is fairly traceable back to the guidelines, the judge said. Last week's ruling marks a major victory for the group of Republican attorneys general who sued the administration last summer over the guidance. The group is led by Tennessee Attorney General Herbert Slattery. Well, that's an odd last name. The Alliance Defending the Freedom applauded the ruling. The conservative legal group has filed a motion to intervene in a lawsuit on behalf of 3 female students, athletes, and the Christian Schools Association. Girls involved in sports deserve the opportunity to compete on a safe and fair playing field against the other female athletes. The court was right to find that the Biden administration exceeded its authority in issuing orders that jeopardize fair play. ADF senior counsel Jonathan Scruggs said, the Biden administration's radical push to redefine sex in federal law, which is what they were trying to do, which is kind of terrifying they were trying to do that, and without the required public comment period, threatens to erase women's sports and limit the opportunities for women that Title IX was intended to protect. We are pleased that the female athletes will be protected in 20 states while this lawsuit moves forward, he added. Which is not entirely wrong, considering we're seeing a lot of, as of recent of this year, a lot of trans folks going into going to women's sports and pretty much beating them outright because nobody wants to believe the biological fact that men are more likely physically stronger than women, and they're honestly losing their sports left and right. We could talk about Thelia Thomas, the skateboarding guy that did this, any about the MMA stuff where women are actively losing single-handedly in this, where it has very little training. It's happening across the sports theme to where women are honestly losing their sports, and it's not really good. Granted, this is a very slow and gradual move, however, it is happening, and it's becoming more of a bigger problem. So, they're not really wrong that women are losing their sports. It's happening, just not at a very rapid rate. It would probably be worse once more laws potentially come in. Meanwhile, the Human Rights Campaign bashed the ruling, calling it another example of far-right judges legislating from the bench. Well, no. Because, again, we had to go to biological ruling. Again, if we're going to allow males, which would mostly be biological males, into women's bathrooms, that's going to cause a whole slew of issues, especially when it comes to kids as well. I would honestly believe that there would be a lot more sexual assaults and a lot more things happening into those bathrooms because of the fact that you would have there'd be across the globe. Like, not every male can really control himself, and not every male is an innocent person. So, therefore, if you see something like that, they're probably going to do something horrendous. I mean, we already had something where a person, an LGBTQ person, already did rape a girl in a bathroom, and obviously the school, for that matter, was trying to cover that up. So that's already instance of coming. And I may believe Chicago is one of the places that allowed both girls and females to be in. I decided both girls and females in the same sentence. My God, both males and females to be in the same bathroom at schools, and I haven't seen a report or anything or any statistics that are being releasing on what the actual damage is going to happen there. So we'll have to wait to see if that comes out. I may believe that only happened this year or at the beginning of this year. So we're going to have to see on actual statistics on how that's going. I'm not going to be very too surprised if some nefarious things are happening and all that. Not just that as well. We also have in a what you would so call a jail in jail or in prison, there was a transgender person that was also in jail, and that person ended up impregnating about 2 or 3 women in the jail. They decided to move this person from the female jail all the way to a male jail, which will probably not most likely be much better. I personally think that maybe they might need their own separate jail for this because, I mean, you look like a female, you're like a female in a pretty much a sexless prison full of males that are hardened criminals. Things may not go well there. So I don't really see where this is going to go. I think this is just a collapse of, honestly, our culture and society if we keep on trying to push these boundaries. And the fact that we want to call them far-right for not allowing biological males into a female bathroom, because not only does it make women uncomfortable in this process as well, it just causes a whole other slew of problems that would be issues. So I don't really see how it would be really far-right. It would be more, I think, majority of people think that would be more reasonable. So, that being said, HRC will continue to fight these anti-transgender rulings with every tool in our toolbox, said the group, the largest LGBT advocacy and political lobbying organization in the country. Well, there you have it. Honestly, this is more of a win for women than it is a win for men, in my personal opinion. Where they won't have their privacy pretty much violated, for that matter. Not quite sure why Biden would want to put this in, but of course we see what he's appointed into the medical field and all this other stuff, so I'm not too terribly surprised why this is going in. Luckily, the federal judge has slapped it down. This is not going to go through, and women can be safe into their own bathrooms for the most part. Well, alright guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.